I wish Enterprise Season 5 got to tell the story Star Trek hinted at for 59 years. When Star Trek Enterprise was canceled in 2005, it felt less like the end of a series and more like the abrupt shutting of a door that had only just begun to open. For 4 seasons, Captain Jonathan Archer and the crew of the NX-01 carved out humanity's first steps into deep space, brushing up against familiar faces like the Vulcans, Andorians, and Klingons. But just as the show was about to step into the territory fans had been waiting decades to see, the true birth of the United Federation of Planets, Enterprise was yanked off the air. That missing Season 5 has become one of the biggest what-ifs in Star Trek history. And what makes it sting even more is that Enterprise wasn't just setting up its own future. It was laying the foundation for a story Star Trek had been hinting at since the original series debuted in 1966, the tale of how a fractured, war-torn Earth reached out into the stars and forged peace with its rivals to create the Federation. That story, arguably the most important in Trek canon, remains unfinished, told only in scraps and glimpses across decades of spin-offs. And it all could have happened in Enterprise Season 5. The 59-year-old mystery: how did the Federation actually begin? From the very beginning, Star Trek teased the Federation's importance. Kirk often spoke about its ideals, Spock defended its principles, and later captains like Picard and Sisko made it the bedrock of their missions. The Federation wasn't just a government. It was the symbol of humanity's ability to rise above conflict and unite with alien species in a shared vision of peace. But here's the strange thing. For nearly 6 decades, Star Trek has danced around its origin without truly showing it. The original series mentioned Earth's recovery after World War III and its first steps toward space exploration. Star Trek: The Next Generation gave us the occasional backstory about Earth's utopian transformation. Deep Space Nine revealed the political complexities of running the Federation, while Discovery later showed what it looked like when the Federation nearly fell apart. What none of them ever gave us was the full story of how the Federation began. Who signed the charter? What conflicts almost derailed it? What sacrifices were made to hold it together? It's the kind of tale that has always lived in the margins, waiting for a series to tackle it head-on. And Enterprise was perfectly positioned to tell it. Season 4 built the bridge to the Federation. By the time Enterprise reached its 4th season, the show had finally found its footing. Under the guidance of showrunner Manny Coto, Season 4 leaned into serialized arcs that connected directly to long-standing Star Trek lore. We saw the groundwork for the Klingon Ridge's explanation, the Vulcan Reformation that would eventually produce Spock's more logical culture, and even the first hints of Section 31. Most importantly, Season 4 laid the seeds for political unity. Archer became a respected mediator among alien powers, especially during conflicts between the Vulcans, Andorians, and Tellarites. These 3 species, along with Earth, would go on to become the Federation's founding members. By the end of Season 4, Archer wasn't just an explorer anymore. He was a diplomat shaping history. Fans knew what was coming next. Enterprise Season 5 would finally give us the moment the franchise had been hinting at since 1966, the official founding of the United Federation of Planets. The planned storylines we never saw. Over the years, writers and producers have revealed glimpses of what Season 5 would have explored, and it's nothing short of heartbreaking for fans. The Romulan War, arguably the most important conflict in early Federation history, the Romulan War was supposed to unfold across multiple seasons of Enterprise. Fans would finally see how Earth, Vulcan, Andoria, and Teller learned to trust each other in the face of an enemy who fought with deception and shadow instead of open battle. It would have been the crucible that forged the Federation. The Federation Charter, Archer's destiny, according to producers, was to preside over the signing of the Federation Charter, making him the George Washington of the 22nd century. That iconic moment, Archer standing alongside Vulcan, Andorian, and Tellarite leaders as they committed to a shared dream, was always the endgame. The rise of Section 31, with Season 4 already teasing the shadowy organization, Season 5 might have dug deeper into how Starfleet's darker instincts conflicted with its ideals. It could have shown the very first compromises the Federation made in the name of survival. More alien exploration, Enterprise's fifth season also had plans for more standalone adventures, including returning to the Gorn and even introducing the Tholians in a bigger way. These would have further tied the NX-01's adventures to classic Trek canon. In short, Season 5 wasn't just going to be another year of Enterprise. It was going to deliver the story that Star Trek fans had been waiting for since Kirk first mentioned the Federation, how it all began. Why the story matters so much. The birth of the Federation isn't just backstory, it's the central myth of Star Trek. Every captain, every crew, every story that followed exists because of that fragile alliance. Without the Federation, there's no Starfleet, no Prime Directive, no Enterprise D, no Deep Space Nine, no Voyager, and no Discovery. By cutting Enterprise short, the franchise denied itself the chance to show audiences the moment where it all started. Instead, fans have had to piece together the Federation's beginnings from novels, comics, and occasional references. Even later shows like Discovery and Strange New Worlds only brush against it without telling the full tale. It's like having an entire franchise about the United States government without ever showing the Declaration of Independence or the Constitutional Convention. You know the outcome, but you never get to see the messy, dramatic story of how it came to be. That's the story Enterprise Season 5 could have told. The emotional payoff fans deserved. Imagine the finale of Enterprise if it had lasted one more season. Instead of the awkward, widely disliked series finale, these are the voyages. We could have had something far more meaningful. Picture Archer standing before a gathering of worlds, giving a speech not just to the future Federation, but to audiences who had followed Star Trek for nearly 60 years. That humanity had stumbled, warred, and nearly destroyed itself. That Vulcans, Andorians, and Tellarites had once been bitter enemies. And yet, through courage and compromise, through trust and vision, they had built something greater than themselves. Something that would endure for centuries. That scene would not only have tied Enterprise together, but would have provided the perfect bridge back to Kirk, Picard, Sisko, Janeway, and Burnham. It would have shown us why the Federation matters, not as a distant idea, but as a hard-won achievement, why we still feel the loss today. The absence of Enterprise Season 5 is one of those rare moments in pop culture where fans know exactly what was lost. Usually, when a show is canceled, we're left to wonder what might have been. But with Enterprise, the pieces were all laid out. The story was so close, you could feel it. Even now, nearly 20 years later, Star Trek continues to circle the Federation's beginnings without fully committing to telling the tale. Strange New Worlds operates close to that era, but has its own priorities. Discovery jumped centuries into the future. Picard revisited old heroes, but not the Federation's birth. The door is still open, but the perfect chance, the chance Enterprise had, may never come again. They hope for the future, and yet there's still hope. Star Trek has a way of revisiting its unfinished business. We,